thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Ramis. And I really genuinely appreciate that kindness that you just extended me. Sometimes I really do not feel I even deserve that, but thank you. I am so excited to be with all of you this evening. And I know that you've had some great content today. Ramis and Ravi do a fantastic job putting together these events and making sure that they are full of value. And as a matter of fact, actually, if you really think about it, the very first virtual member conference in the history of TAB was held in India. And it was their leadership and things like this. There's so many reasons why India is becoming a more significant part of the TAB global community. So this is such an honor for me. You know, when Ramis asked me to speak, I was like, of course I'd speak. What a great honor. And he thought I wasn't serious, but it is truly an honor to be with all of you. So thank you. And I'm looking forward to chatting a little bit with you. We're very excited by this. You know, as everyone knows, India is a diverse and a very large country, which has one of the fastest growing economies. And in spite of its challenges, India has faced up to the COVID in an impressive manner with no significant social political disruptions. And I know that there's some, don't get me wrong, we all have our crap that we deal with, but not like we're doing here in the States, for example. And in fact, I understand India's vaccination rate now is over 70%. It's very impressive. So we can now look forward to recovering some of the lost ground that we've all taken economically. And that's what makes this a perfect time for each and every one of us to be a TAB member, as I believe there is so much opportunity on the horizon. And TAB India is also growing, which is fantastic. Even during the challenging time, TAB India has grown. We've grown from like 40 some odd members to over 60 members with 15 different industries or more. Pondicherry, I hope I pronounce these areas right. Pondicherry has grown. And now we're expanding into Chennai. Rajkot was launched and already has its first board operational. That's fantastic. And we also know that our TAB members are receiving the great value and are enjoying and appreciating the membership. So how do I know this? Because you have an amazing retention of over 90%. That speaks volumes when it talks to the volume that each and every one of us are having and giving to each other. Now, as everyone knows, this pandemic has presented us a lot of obstacles. We know that. And we have to overcome them. We're still overcoming some of them. But at the same time, it really has presented positive areas. I know that many of our businesses are doing some of the best they've ever done. And others have learned to really navigate this very challenging water and have become a healthier company in spite of it. We know also that there's challenges, like I said. But one of the real positives is that it has allowed us as a community to become more connected globally. You know, the old-fashioned in-person conferences, we call them old-fashioned, but you know what I mean, right? And not just TAB Commerce, but any professional development were face-to-face. That's the way we only knew how to do it. But now, with virtual conferences, participation has truly increased, which means more best practices can be shared, and we can expand our network in ways that we may not have thought possible. And that really has been a wonderful silver lining for these crazy days. And I hope everyone here at the conference is taking advantage of this and will use this opportunity to connect with business owners outside of their TAB board, outside of their region. And if you haven't done yet, I encourage you to please, before this conference ends, connect with someone, start building a relationship, start making this community even closer and closer. And I hope that many of you are also reaching outside of the country. Because one of the things that we saw when this pandemic started is that business owners genuinely wanted to support other business owners. And not just with business matters either. See, the spirit that we all have is that we are in this together and we're going to help each other get beyond this together. Now, we like to think of this as helping ourselves get out of the quicksand. But the important thing is that we were providing support to people, to each other, who are traveling along the same journey, facing the same uncertain future. And I have been genuinely touched by the countless stories that members of helping each other during these days through this pandemic. So I just want to say thank you. I want to stop and really take a heartfelt thank you and say thank you for being there for each other. And thanks for being part of this community of forward-thinking business owners. So I thought maybe I'd share a little bit about some of the offerings as well. You know, one of the reasons why everyone needs a coach is that we get too close to things, don't we? And when we get too close to things, what happens is we lose perspective. And having a coach come in each month who is sufficiently close, but not wrapped around the details, not wrapped around the axle, well, that provides a really great perspective for us. That's why we do this. And sometimes we need help when we're too close to see. So an outside perspective, it's gold. And that's what recently happened to me. I was in a meeting with a very, very serious player in this business advisory industry. And he knows our industry extraordinarily well and has an impressive handle on all the comparative offerings within the industry. And he said to me, Jason, I don't think you appreciate what you really have. You have the trifecta, he said. You are the only company in this space that provides peer advisory boards, private coaching, and growth workshops. And he refers to the workshops of our program as Strap Pro. Strap Pro are our growth workshops. And not only, I thought to myself, do we have the trifecta, but actually we have the Business Builders Blueprint. We have Tab Connect as an additional part of our offering. Now, I'm not a gambler, but if you were doing some horse racing, I think that's what we call now the quadfecta. And this is another area where India is leading in our organization. India has the highest ratio of Strap Pro engagements to members. That's brilliant. In fact, there are 3 members now who are moving into their 3rd year with Strap Pro, another first for our organization. India is so very well represented as well in our Tab Connect. And I think practically every single one of you has a profile. So I just, once again, need to show appreciation for all of you engaging with the full offering and the understanding that the Tab opportunity has to offer. And as we look to future offerings, I have great confidence that the members of India will continue to lead the adoption of our programs. In the real near future, we hope to provide the opportunity to work with other Tab members in the same industry, but not in the same geographic areas. This will allow for collaboration without competition, using our collective industry knowledge to help improve members' businesses. Now, going into last year, I think that most of us felt at least some cautious optimism, didn't we? The vaccines were rolling out and really working. Cases of COVID in most locations were declining. Lockdowns were lifting. And things were getting back to normal. Or we started to feel that there was normal days right over the horizon. But just as our optimism began to peak, new obstacles started to present themselves, like Omicron. And if you really think about it, prior to COVID, business owners, well, we felt in control. Well, as much as we ever feel in control. Now, we have uncertainty. Before, leaders of businesses, the owners were leaders of their businesses. And now many of us feel that we're just another employee. Unfortunately, we're not sure when this uncertainty is going to end. And that thought for many of us could be a little exhausting. So what I'm sharing with folks and what I really think is important is that we have to take care of ourselves as well. And as business owners, we're used to taking care of others. We have to, that comes with the territory. As business owners, we do that. And I share this African parable. You might have heard me speak about it at one point or another, but it's relevant every time I say it. It's every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up and it knows it must run faster than the fastest lion or it's going to be killed. Every morning, a gazelle wakes up, a lion wakes up, and it knows it must outrun the fastest gazelle or it's going to starve to death. You see, it doesn't matter whether you're a lion or whether you're a gazelle. When that sun comes up, you better damn well be running. Now, whether we see ourselves as that gazelle lion, we have to really think about it. Because during these daunting challenges, we say to ourselves, well, that's the way I've always been. And when I'm up against this challenge, I guess I'll just keep running because that's all I ever know. Well, my experience is that works up until the point that it doesn't. You see, without you all being your best self, things can and often will fall apart. Now, as you all know, I represent a group of hundreds of business owners and coaches and facilitators from around the world. And their collective advice to all of us is that we must focus on ourselves first. That is, we want you to put your oxygen mask on before you help others. So what does that mean? Well, it can mean different things for different people, but I can share just a few recommendations that I think are absolutely universal. First, we all must be sure to create enough time, enough emotional availability for the most important people in our life. And that's our family and our friends. And not only will they be in a better place as a result of our support, but my experiences, this is the time, this is the connection that we all need in order for us to fill our physical and emotional tanks. Secondly, be part of a supportive community of other business owners and leaders who genuinely care about you and are also traveling along the same heroic journey. Now, everyone here, or most of you here, are TAB members. So you have this community. So cherish it. Take care of it. So what I would like each and every one of you to do is I encourage you to own your board. Don't just show up. Engage fully with your board. Listen. Listen attentively with head and heart. Be vulnerable. Be compassionate. And make a commitment to your board each month. Each month, be prepared to make that commitment for yourself, for your sake, for your personal vision, your business vision, and hold yourself accountable. Hold your fellow board members accountable and allow them to hold you accountable. That's the way this works. And that's why this is now working in 24 countries around the world. And the last final thing I'd like to say is I want you to focus on things in the work that gives you the most meaning. And you might be saying, well, that sounds awesome, Jason, but right now I'm the chief cook, I'm the bottle washer, I'm short-staffed or this, that, and I get that. I really do. And so maybe right now you cannot do the things that you love doing, but you need to keep your eye on the prize. And when you do have some space, find these things. Now, taking care of yourself is important, obviously, and it will give you the energy that you need to keep moving forward. But I know some of us, including myself, in these challenging days, we're not sure exactly how to move forward. And when you hear things are uncertain, many times you'll hear people say, well, get back to the basics, go back to the fundamentals. And I think that is wise advice. And what I've learned over the years in charting one's success, whether it be in business or in life, it really comes down to three areas. And that's one's mindset, our skill set, and our activity. Think about that. What else really matters when you're charting one's success? Our mindset, which is key, our skill set, and our activity. Now, mindset is our outlook. It's a positive mindset that embodies belief, optimism, and enthusiasm. And we love being around those folks, right? We love folks who exude positivity, don't we? Look at this conference. Excuse me. The energy that's being shared, the enthusiasm, right? That's exciting. It's contagious. We love it. Skill set is about both hard skills and soft skills. And we could always choose to improve our current skill set or possibly even gain a skill set that we did not need previously. And of course, there's activity, which is a bias towards action. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, it's the action, not the fruit of the action, that's important. You have to do the right thing. It may not be in your power. It may not be in your time that there'll be any fruit, but that doesn't mean you stop doing the right thing. And you may never know the results that come from your actions. But if you do nothing, there'll be no result. That resonates with me, and I hope it resonates with you. In order to improve our situation, it genuinely comes down to these three areas. And every single one of us could probably do better in each of them. Now, when if one of our fellow members struggles with a challenge of any sort, and you're in your board meetings or you're having a conversation with them, start examining mindset, skill set, activity. Because looking at our challenges this way will likely reveal a path forward. And this brings me full circle. It brings me back to the support that our TAB members give each other. For those of you who have been in TAB India since before the pandemic, I bet you can't even imagine going through these days alone. Why would you? It's so unnecessary. It is so much more enthusiasm and confidence building and it's helpful as we do this together. And for those of you who might have joined recently, well, I'm sure that you're going to look back at these days and realize you captured great opportunities that you may not have, and that your stress level and your enjoyment navigating through these challenging days have been so much more fruitful. So please keep supporting each other. And I know that we're going to be so much better for this experience. So if I had to really wrap this whole thing up and then open myself up to any questions for you, I just want you to know that I'm really looking forward to a time in the not too distant future when I'll have the opportunity to travel over to India and hear your voices, hear your stories firsthand. It's one of the greatest parts of being the CEO of this wonderful organization. And even though I'm aware of the power, the TAB opportunity, it is always so much more impactful when I get to be with you in person and hear what's going on. So I hope I'll have the pleasure of one of these days presenting the awards in person at a future conference. So for now, I just want to say thank you. I want to congratulate all the winners and the nominees of the awards. You should be so incredibly proud of what you've accomplished. My very, very best to each and every one of you. And I'm happy to take any questions and talk about it with anything that's on your mind. So thank you. Ravi, thank you for having me and give me the opportunity to just say hello and be part of your conference. Thank you.